Hello, everyone, and welcome down to episode number 74 of the Down South Photo Show with me, Brendan Waits, here in Ocean Grove, Victoria, Australia, and the dude on your other screen and in your other ear if you are listening on the podcast thing apps. It's Cam Blake in Hobart Town, Tasmania. Hello, Cameron.
Good evening, Mr. Waits. How are you on this?
Good evening,
wonderful...
our time. What if someone's listening to this and they're doing the milk run that's 5:30 in the morning?
That's easily solved. They press pause and come back 12 hours later.
True.
Then they can listen to it in the evening. Yes.
So if you're one of those people, you need to stop and then come back when it's evening time so everything feels right.
It'd be interesting to see what our most popular time people listening to us would be.
We could probably find out.
Really?
Yeah, well, someone with knowledge on how this stuff works could definitely find out.
So that's not us then?
No, definitely not. We had a week off.
We did, didn't we?
Sorry, folks. We were we didn't. Did we even post anything to say that we had a week off? We just had a week off.
We just had a week off. I think you might have had a week off, and then I just said, "Well, if you're not doing it, I'm not doing it."
Yeah, we are our own bosses after all, aren't we? Thanks to everyone who has liked, subscribed, and followed the channel to this point. It's been fantastic. Part of another little milestone. 450 got chalked up, which is pretty cool. In fact, there's been some solid growth the last couple of months.
And it's funny, like the more times we don't do an episode, the more subscribers we get. maybe we should pull stumps now and just say it's we're done.
Very worrying trend. We don't want to keep going down that path.
No, it's good. It is good. Yeah, we've people are tuning in and people are liking, which is great. So
yeah, we like it. It's
if you haven't subscribed, don't forget there's that little red thing somewhere you can press and ring the bell and give us thumbs up and all that kind of stuff.
All the things, all the love.
Yeah.
Also, DSPS.com.au, downsouthphotoshow.com.au, DSPS.com.au is up and firing. Literally visitors to the site.
Visitors galore. I could probably dig up a figure of how many people have been on there, but I'll check it first before we announce it.
Well, a couple of freshies today. I had a couple of customers in today who hadn't heard of the podcast. What the hell?
Where have they been living?
And so I gave them a little flyer, and they're tuning in tonight. So hello, listeners.
And of course, you are. You know their names, and
I do, but I'm not. No,
because you're not naming them. Okay.
No, well, it'd be embarrassing. Well,
it's good though. That's a good trend to have on this episode that we don't name names, because I reckon when we get into some topics, we're going to leave some names out.
That's right.
I can tell you, since we've had our website going, we've had close to 300 people visit our website.
Yeah, how good is that?
That's pretty good.
That's awesome.
They're all visit. I'd say they're all bots, but that's okay.
That's what happens with their AI things and bots and stuff.
I've got a small update on the AI. I know we weren't going to talk about AI anymore, but
do tell.
So there's the other podcast that keeps referencing us in their podcast about how much better their podcast is than our podcast, even though we rated higher on the charts this week by a country mile. We're not about egos and we're not about ratings stuff like that.
But we were higher.
But we were heaps higher. But they also remember the company that did the whole AI deep DigiDirect. They actually had that person on their podcast, and you know what? I'll give them a plug. I would recommend go listening to the episode with the boss of the AI. Absolutely AI, I think it was. For people that don't know, it's the Matt and Tom's Excellent Podcast or whatever it's called. Go check it out and have a listen. But there was one little funny moment in the interview that they did. It was a good interview, apart from Tom, but everything else was pretty good. Where they asked the gentleman who does the AI, so when it's generating these images, how many pixels does it pull from somewhere? Where does it get the images from? How does it generate the image that won the competition? And his flat out answer was, we don't really know. And that was pretty that was pretty much when I stopped listening and I went, right, okay, so this is great. This computer's pulling out stuff from all over the internet and no one knows. Excellent.
And it's completely uncontrolled and and your images are not safe because these photos in our backgrounds, which we'll talk about later, have probably already been used as an AI image somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
In fact, is my image AI? Maybe it is.
Mine possibly couldn't be real the way it looks, but
because it's so damn good.
Yeah.
Should we get into a topic?
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, this topic is yours. It's fair to say you brought this topic to the table after a little discussion you had on social media over the last couple of days.
I sure did have a discussion, yes.
So, Mr. Blake, the floor is yours.
So it's not something, I don't want to go too far into the topic that was posted online in regards to some of the backlash that it's got. I tend to have a way of words that get people the wrong way, even though my intention's not that way. But generally, the topic I wanted to talk about tonight is in regards to us as landscape photographers. When is it a good idea to give away your images for free? So usually when people say, give away images for free, we all shudder and think, oh my God, you don't do that. And that was the general response to this post that I had on my Facebook page in regards to something that was brought to my attention in regards to, giving away images for free. Is that a good idea? Why are we doing that, etc.? So as landscape photographers, we generally have a huge catalog of images from, all over Australia or wherever you live around the world. And every now and then, and it happens, I'm sure to you, Brendan, it happens to me, and it happens to a lot of other photographers, we get requests for images saying, hey, we love that image of the beach behind you there, Brendan. We'd love to use it for our magazine, book, article, online website, whatever it might be. But we don't want to pay you for it, but we'd love you to be able to supply that image for free. And it'd be really great because it's a really popular website, or it's a really popular magazine or book or whatever. And, we'll give you credit for the use of the image. And what sort of got me thinking about this is that, is there a good time to actually say, yes, hey, hand up, I'm happy to give my image away for free? Or is there never really a time that we should be giving our images away for free? And I wanted to have a bit of discussion about that because based on my topic or post I put online, there was a lot of people coming back saying, absolutely not. If the author or the publisher or the editor or the web designer has a budget to make whatever they're making, then they should also have a budget to pay photographers for their images. And there was a few people with a bit of backlash that said, well, hang on a sec, I'm happy to donate my images for, cause A, B, or C. And, it's my prerogative if I give my images away for free. And I just think it's a bit of a dangerous little rabbit hole to go down to if we are giving images away for free to anyone, just for the sake of a bit of exposure or, whatever it might be. So, yeah, that's how I wanted to have the discussion about when is it a good time to give away your images for free. And I'll put the question to you. When would you give your images or image away for free? And what sort of parameters would you have on that image that's being given away?
Yeah, so generally speaking, and you're right, I get approached weekly, fortnightly, I suppose, to use my photos for something, promote something, put on a website, put on a Facebook post, put on an Instagram post, blah, blah, blah. When do I say yes? Normally I say yes to charities if it's a charity that's close to my heart. So generally like a local charity. So Ocean Grove Surf Lifesaving Club have approached me in the past. They do great things with kids in the local community through their nippers programs and things like that. So
they do, yeah.
Yeah, generally speaking, I'm okay with that. I do always ask for an image credit and some kind of link back to my business.
Yeah.
Without that, it's pointless, I think. And that's not me wanting to make a financial gain from it as such. It's just really a recognition thing. That, here's the photographer that actually donated this photo, or the business that actually donated this photo to make this post go viral.
Yeah.
I think that's good. I think that's good ethics for that sort of stuff. So I will always ask for some kind of credit or a link back to my business in some way. I think, other things like, I've got a few other charities that are close to my heart, but and I will generally really think hard about a charity if I get approached.
Yeah.
Where I battle is when it's just for another business. So so I get approached by real estate agents on the regular.
Yeah.
All the time for photos because they're trying to sell a property that's beachfront or lifestyle Ocean Grove, or they want to show the area. And if you jump on Google and type Ocean Grove photographs, I will come up. Yeah, my photos come up. That's just, I've got Ocean Grove camera and photo, for goodness sake. So
yeah, that's right.
Google search will, and it's linked straight back to me. So and they just have to go to my website and then they can get in contact with me.
Yeah.
Very, very few people want to pay me.
Yeah, and that's
it's regularly. Can we use your photo? Hey, we'll give you a credit.
Yeah, and that's I'm of a similar experience as well. And and I again, the post I put up online, a few people that took offense to that I think they thought I was actually trying to have a go at the photographers who do give away the images for free. What I was trying to raise, and I thought I'd raised it pretty clearly, was along the lines that, just because something's popular or just because something's going to give you exposure, think of the bigger picture, that if you're giving away your images, then what you're doing is sort of diminishing the rest of the industry by, setting a bit of a precedent. Like you said, the real estates that contact you have probably gone, if Brendan won't give us a free image, we'll go to the next guy. He'll probably give it to us, or the next guy. Yeah. I think that's what happens a lot. I'm the same as you. Like, people who might have seen the post might think I'm being a bit of a hypocrite here, but I'm happy to also give away images or time for charity. Absolutely. And like I said, if it's a charity that I can see is doing good work, they're legitimate charity, they're not a dodgy charity, then I'm happy to give them,
like a couple we could name.
That's right. So I'm happy to give images or use of images across, again, with credit and link back to website if that's available. But where there's a bit of a gray area is where, if someone's selling a magazine that's or a book, or it's a website that's got information on it, if it's not actually, if the money that they're going to make from the image or the use of the image in collection with other images, if they're making money off that, that's not going back to a charity, that's where I have a bit of an issue and a bit of a gray area. So I think you've got three areas: either charity where, hey, here's my image, yep, it's for Cancer Council, or it's for whatever it might be, happy to throw money at you. Like I've given images for the Westpac helicopter, I've given images for, heaps of charities down here to use and auction off and things like that. And the other one is that, hey, here's a business, I need your image. Sure, that's X amount of dollars per image per use. But in the middle, there's these sort of sections where there's profit-making companies or groups or individuals, whoever it might be, who are using the good grace of photographers to get images for their use. And I think there's an issue there, that if the money that they're making from these images isn't going back to the charity, or there's no money going back to the photographer, I think that's a really dangerous area to be in, because you're just giving away your work for a smaller bit of exposure.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I think
which undermines the entire industry, because it
totally
devalues the entire industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah. People just keep asking someone else until someone says yes. And then, no one gets anywhere and no one can buy any nice new lenses.
That's right. And that's the thing. I think there's also a couple of people put up these comments saying that, I think people do this because of the fear of missing out. So, for example, if it was Australian Geographic doing a book or something like that, and they said, hey, Brendan, Cam, we love your shots. We can't give you any money from the sale of the book, but hang on, we'll definitely credit you, and you'll be in great company, and, you'll be a published author straight away. And I've had it done before. I know the feeling that I'll sit there and go, well, shit, if I don't go in this, then they're just going to get the next person. And if their photo is going to be published, I can't miss this opportunity. So yes, you're sort of agreeing to giving your image away for free. But to me, there's this underlying, not manipulation, but there's an underlying fogginess about it. Like you probably don't feel great about it in the end, because you've given your image away, the hard work and all the time and equipment you've put towards it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want the next guy getting in a book or a calendar or whatever it might be over you. So it was a really interesting topic, and it got a hell of a lot of traction. And there's been a little bit of backlash from some things, which I won't go into, but I think it's an interesting topic. And I think people that might listen to our show and watch our show, I think they need to seriously consider just what you're giving away when they do it.
I hear you. But there is grey area, and it would be very easy to be labelled a hypocrite when, let's pick out a really big time. Let's say Nike came to you and said, we're putting out a new range of hiking clothes. It's our Tasmania range. Love your photos, Cam. We want to, or it's our overland range. We want you to, we want to use your photos of the overland track.
Yeah.
You don't get paid.
Yeah.
I mean, and you go, okay, well, hang on a minute. Nike, probably got, 10 million followers on Instagram, probably got, just so much pull around the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to have how many millions of eyeballs on my photos.
Yeah. And that's where that's where the gray area is as well. Like in no way, shape or form am I saying any photographer should never, ever give their images away. It's your work. It's your image. It's your art. Do what you want with it. But what I think there needs to be is a substantial payout some way, shape, or form. So
Yeah.
exactly that. If Nike said that, and they weren't going to pay me, I'd honestly go, okay, well, you got billions of dollars, you should be able to pay me. But okay,
it was a pie in the sky example.
Yeah, no, but the option might be to go back and negotiate and say, right, okay, you can't give me money, but how about you give me some gear, or how about this? But there is that point where you'd say, okay, well, there's nothing in it for me. What am I giving these people the images for?
Yeah,
it is a grey area, but
I think it makes a huge difference as well when you are a professional photographer. Yes. When this is your job.
Yes.
Now, I would hazard a guess. I haven't looked through the entire conversation that you had online the other day. No. I would hazard a guess that not everyone who commented was a full-time professional photographer.
That's right. Yeah.
Now that makes a huge. This is your bread and butter.
That's right. And I was talking to Lisa about this tonight as well. Is that there is a lot of great amateur and enthusiast photographers out there, and go to town. I love it. I love people that are taking photos, whether or not you're a rookie or a professional, it doesn't matter. But what I think people need to realize, though, is that there is working professionals out there. Now, if we use that example of, Australian Geographic, for example, if I don't say yes to giving away my image behind here for free, and then the next person does, then what we've done is set a dangerous precedent where Australian Geographic goes, well, tick, we've got these photographers now, because that if Cam won't give me one, the next guy will. So our budget for photography goes from $10,000 down to $1. And all that does is affect things later on. And then further down the track is that, if I'm a photographer that sells my images, every business company, if we keep this trend going, is going to say, photography, don't worry about a budget for that. We'll just get some people to give it for free for exposure. And the whole industry crumbles.
Yeah.
And that sounds extremes, but...
Yeah, this all harkens back to a conversation we've had many times on the show, and that is that, God bless digital photography, but it has made everyone a photographer.
Yeah.
And back in the day, even as late as like the late 90s, when you were a professional photographer and you were shooting film and you were paying for film and you're getting film processed and all that sort of stuff, she was a different kettle of fish back then. Like,
that's right. Yeah.
Because as soon as digital took off, we were literally taking 2 trillion images a year, versus, maybe 1 million images a year. So there's a lot more photography out there. So, and of course, with the reach of social media, that puts photos under people's noses much more readily. So the landscape has completely changed, but there is still a call for high quality imagery. And that's where, as you say, as you rightly point out, there's a lot of in inverted commas amateur photographers out there that are better photographers than me. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
And it's interesting. And there's a couple of local guys around here that I know that damn well should be pros, but they don't want to be. They're just happy to have their 9 to 5 and shoot on the weekends, And unfortunately, they're the people that get targeted for this sort of stuff, because they're happy to get the exposure. They're not relying on it for $1 anyway. And that's what makes it tough on guys and girls that work the industry properly to make a living.
And I think that's where the muddiness of the conversation comes in. So as a professional photographer working full-time as one, for me to put up a post about this saying, hey guys, I reckon the people that, may have been involved with this might have been duped a little bit by the person doing what they did, because they're making money off something and you're giving away images for free. Yes, you've got your reasoning and that's valid and all that kind of stuff. But the bigger picture is that if everyone starts doing that, we all lose in the end. And I think for the amateurs and the enthusiasts that are involved in these kind of projects, that makes it's a hard point to understand. So
very difficult.
Like it'd be the same as me going, well, I'm not a builder, but I'll build you a house for free, and I'll do a pretty good job. And if everyone starts saying, hey, that guy can build a house for free, then all the other builders are out of job.
That's right.
Because everyone's doing it for free. So it's an interesting topic, and like I said, it as always, I seem to get traction online, and there's other reasons for that, which definitely not going to go into on this bloody episode, but.
The other thing to consider as well is, if you're not going to do it for free, well, what do you charge? And gee, man, how often do you get asked that, Cam?
Exactly.
I get asked that all the time. Like, what do I charge? And unfortunately, there is no answer. It's subjective. It's all got to do with the image that you're selling and who's buying it. Loads of it. Like, what do you want to get out of it? What do you think you're worth? And no one ever values themselves highly enough.
But this is where it differs as well, though. Like, if you're giving away images for charity, then money is not even a part of the question.
That's right.
If it's for a good cause to raise money for even better cause, then go to town, hand away the images you want, frame, pictures, whatever. But when people are asking them for free, the general, from what I can understand, usually the quick response is, okay, that sounds great. I'll be involved because I want to get my work out there, or I want to get some exposure. But, there's different ways you can get payment. It doesn't always have to be, hey, here's my image for nothing. Like I said, you could say, okay, well, I want some gear in exchange, or I want a profit share of, what you're selling, or whatever it might be, but try not to walk away empty-handed. And in some of the examples I've heard, people have been given pretty minimal payment of any sort for things that are going to make a lot of money. And it just doesn't sit right with me. It just sort of feels a bit uneven. And the argument, like I said, is that people, it's their work and they can give their work away for free. But I just ask people to take an extra step back and say, hang on a sec, let's look at the bigger picture of photography here. Yeah. And what potential damage are we doing down the track if we all just start giving away images for the sake of giving away images, when there is potential to put an invoice in and say, hey.
Absolutely. I had an interesting conversation not 2-3 weeks ago with a local business owner. Lovely person, came in with very good intentions. Brendan, I love that photo you've got on canvas in the front window. Is there any chance that I can use that on my website as a banner?
Yeah.
And they actually said, I'm happy to pay. It's like, okay, no problem at all.
You fell over with shock.
Well, and it's an image that a lot of people have seen, and it sells quite well. It's a good shot of Ocean Grove. So I just said to him, yep, no worries. $150 a year.
Yeah.
And they went,
yeah.
And they went, what, every year?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what did you think? $150 forever?
Yeah.
So in 30 years time, you can pull that image out and use it again. That sort of almost shocked them.
Yeah.
That, hang on a minute, what do I have to keep paying for it? And it's like, well, $150. Well, that's nothing. Do you know how much the gear is that I used to take that photo? Do you know how much experience went into getting that photo? But people don't see that. They see the image, and I understand that.
But the reason why as well, and I think it pushes back to the topic, the thing you said before about how many photographers there are these days. We've cut our nose off to spite our own face, because what we've done over the last 15, 20 years is that we've given stuff away for cheap, like digital imaging for $50 a file. Yep. So, and I can't help but bring this back round to, and it's across the board, myself included, you included, everyone, but it comes back to our own personal little bit of ego that, hey, you know what? I want my image to be in that book, or I want my image to be on that website. I want my image to be in that calendar, whatever it might be. And I'm happy to give it away because it gives me a bit of a feel good that my image is going to be published. And I get that. And we've all been doing that. But I think we need to be a bit smarter about how we make the decisions about giving stuff away. So my advice to anyone listening or watching is that if you're approached to give an image of yours, and it's your image, you can do what you want, but if you're approached to get an image of yours to give away, look at where you're giving it to. So my advice is if the person asking you for that photo is going to make money, regardless of how much money they're going to make, then you are entitled, and you should be entitled to get some payment for the use of that image. Unless it's a charity, then that's up to an individual, but I think that's a good deed to do. But anything but that, you should be looking at the bigger picture of, okay, what's this company or person asking me for? Are they going to make money as a company or individual? How much money might they make? And how do I get a little bit of that pie? Because like you said, there's equipment, there's time, there's education, there's experience, there's editing, there's Lightroom software, there's subscriptions to this, there's internet to use your thing to edit stuff. Like there's all these little mini costs that come involved. And if we all just say, oh, here's my image here, good on me, and I get published, then we're not going to have a photography industry where people get their images bought. It's just going to be a free-for-all.
Yeah. And the other thing is, be very wary of when people say we'll give you a credit.
Yeah, because most of the time they screw that up.
They either get it wrong, misspell it, there's no link, or in my case, that's happened several times now, there's no credit at all.
Yeah.
You know, and I've had to go like comment on the post below and shame them and just say, hey, nice image, thanks for using it. And I know you asked me to use it, but here's the link that you were supposed to put underneath it.
Yeah. Someone in that post that I put up the other day said that behind musicians, photographers are the next ripped off artists in the world.
Yeah.
And we totally are. Like, you know, you look at some of the stuff people get paid to do versus what we do and the effort we put into it. Like, we're getting completely reamed all the time.
Yeah.
And at some stage it needs to stop. And yes, you know, like I said, I put my hand up and I'll get criticized for putting up posts that might offend a few people. But if we don't have this conversation, it never happens. So if the thought, you know, people watching, listening again, or the people that saw the post, if it just puts a little extra thought in your brain about, okay, what am I going to do the next time someone asks me? If you just stop for that extra couple of seconds and say, well, hang on a sec, they're going to make money off this, I'm going to ask for something. Then we can actually start turning the tides of making it fair for everyone. And amateur or professional, doesn't matter. If your image is good enough for someone to want to use, it's good enough for them to put some money to it.
Yeah. Here. And even that whole idea of you know, a profit share or return, like, you know, turn the tables back on the person who's saying, hey, I want to put your photo in a book. You know, you'll get a lot of recognition. Okay, so they obviously think that book's going to sell quite well.
That's right.
By using your photo.
And the pictures are what's going to sell it.
No problem. Just give me a 5% cut of your profits. Done.
Yeah.
Because if they think it's going to work so well, then they've got no issue with writing you a check.
Yeah, it was like I used the analogy today with a mate about the book that Tom and I have done, the Cradle Mountain book. And I said, look, you know, if we could raise that, and Tom could have come to me and said, hey, this book's going to be an amazing asset for the overland track. It's going to be great for people walking it. People can buy it and they're going to get a great experience or a memory to take home with them. I love all your image of Cradle Mountain. Can I borrow half the amount of the book of images? I won't pay you. But hey, it'll be good. You'll get, you know, you'll be, you know, a contributor to me on the book. And I'd have to have rocks in my head if I said, yeah, sure, take all the images for free.
Yeah.
You know, he's making money, or we're making money on each copy of those books. And we've had 2,000 of those books printed. Like, that's a fair bit of money.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. You know, it's only fair that if you're, like I said, if your images are going to sell that product, then you need to think long and hard about whether or not you're happy just to hand them over. And like I said, by the responses I got, there's people that are quite happy to hand them over, and a lot of people don't want to be told what they can and can't do with their images, and I get that. But just take a step back and look at the bigger picture, because you're probably doing more damage than you'd probably think you are.
Don't you love putting an opinion piece on social media and then people arc up at it?
Yeah,
it's an opinion, people. It's just an opinion.
and the post was, you know, what would you do? What would you do in this situation? There's a couple of dot points, and the only part of this post where I said this is my opinion was when I said, you know, in this, you know, scenario, I think some people might have been fooled into giving images, and when they could have probably made some money. And what annoys me about post online, and I've really got to stop doing it. But
do you want me to start vetting all your posts? Like, just send it to me first, and I'll just say, maybe not on this one.
Lisa's the same. She's like, before you post any, run it by me. But what frustrates me is that when I do a post that gets a bit of traction for whatever reason, there's always a handful of people that I never hear from ever. Yeah. Apart from when they want to get on there and try and chop me down for having an opinion. Yeah. And that's fine. You know, the opinion is public, and I'm happy to have a discussion with people and take it on board. But if that's the only time you're going to engage with me as a photographer is when you want to shoot me down or chop me down, then you're better off just probably putting your time somewhere else, because it doesn't really affect me. It just makes it interesting for a conversation. But I love a discussion, and I think it's an important discussion to have. And I'm glad we had it on the show, because I think there'd be a heap of people out there, like you said, that's been approached by someone, their local council, or you know, maybe even something bigger, say, hey, we love that image of the beach or the forest or the mountain. Can we use it for our front of the calendar for the local community or whatever? have a look at it. If they're going to make money, if they're selling that, then your image has got to be worth some percentage of that. So that's my advice. Take it or leave it. Feel free to put some comments below. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm right. If people who don't really watch the show and want to comment just out of the blue, feel free to put a comment up. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about, and I think we covered it.
Written and authorised by C. Blake, Hobart, Tasmania. If you've got comments, people, we love the feedback down below in the comments section, or if you want to send us an email at dsps.com.au, feel free to do that. We like talking with our community.
And like I said as well, just to finish off there, this is not a dig at photographers giving away their work. Like, I'm not gonna disrespect people for doing it or not. That's your work and you can do what you like. And I've done it. We've all done it. All I'm saying is let's just start thinking a bit further outside the box when it comes to giving away images, and think about maybe what's happening in regards to the person getting those images or company getting those images versus what you're put in to get it. Just think a bit. That's all.
Absolutely. Sage advice. Let's talk about our backgrounds, because let's just mix the show up a bit. And we're starting with yours.
With mine. Okay. My image is for free. If anyone wants it, I'll send it out to you.
Here it is.
Here it is. My image is from Cradle Mountain, actually. So these are the pandeni trees. I can't think of the botanical name off the top of my head. But they grow in families. They look like they've got kids and mama and papa type of thing. But they're beautiful plants, quite unique, only found in Tasmania. Similar to a similar plant in South America, but these are endemic to Tasmania, but they just grow in really cool places. And you're going to see lots of these on the walk, Brendan.
Are you talking about Riccia pandanifolia?
That's the one. Well Googled. So yeah, we're going to see lots of these, but this is just a nice shot early morning. I know they just got a character about them, and I just like the look of them. So that's what I did. I took a bit of a photo, but yeah, we'll see lots of them on the track. They generally grow, I think, about 800 meters above sea level. You find most of them. So they're more of an alpine heath than most things, but they are pretty cool.
And they make great photos. Look at the texture you got going on there.
They're crazy. And then when they get a bit of snow on them and things like that, they look incredible. Yes. So
yeah, when you see snow on those things, it's like, hang on, wait, this is like a tropical island with snow.
Yes, because they look like palm trees. Yeah,
they do. Yeah.
And they also flower. I actually saw a gentleman called Martin Hawes, Haws, photographer down here. He's got an exhibition going on at Lake Sinclair, and he's got a fantastic shot of one of these pandanus trees. They flower. They got this big sort of reddy, pinky yellow flower at the top of them.
Yeah, right.
And it's really quite rare to see them flower so predominantly. So it's an amazing shot. So yeah, look up Martin Hawes. You'll probably have it online somewhere. But yeah, it's lovely. And
apparently you can also find them. Oh no, they're only in Tasmania. Sorry, I was reading that wrong. Oh, good. Forget what I had to say. My background is
edit that one out.
That's gone. My background's a mistake.
Right, yeah.
So this was last year. I was down at 13th Beach, and I was trying to take the photos. I was trying to take photos of surfers, but in between the grasses. And yes. Yeah, and then I sort of was mucking around and went, oh, hang on a minute. The grasses themselves actually make a pretty cool foreground. And because I was working with my 150 to 600 zoom at that point, it gave that fantastic compression and gave a bit of bokeh in the background. So rather than shooting at a wide aperture, it was just because I was at maximum zoom. And those grasses are quite small, but I'm probably a good 30 or 40 meters back from them. And the surfer that you can just see getting on a wave in the background is probably a good 300 meters away. So I like doing that kind of stuff. It's a little bit different. It's a bit of a departure from what I normally like to shoot, the old landscape within the landscape. And the light was really cool too, just, giving me a good little bit of light on the grasses and a bit of dark background action.
Yeah, no, they're good shooting. When I used to shoot weddings, I used to love doing that kind of stuff as well, like shooting through foliage or trees. And, if it was autumn, you have like the sort of bokeh color of the tree around the outside of the bride and groom and stuff. So yeah, using aperture and depth of field to your advantage is a good thing. So that's pretty cool.
I really like, I think I've come to like again shooting big zoom outdoors. I don't know. I think it really sort of hones your skills. Like it hones your vision. Like you're really starting to break down a whole scene into little chunks.
Yeah, you do.
And within that scene, you can always find something. So this is why I'm still so torn about bringing that 100 to 400 on the walk.
Well, you now know who has plenty of room in their bag.
Ooh, that's right. Could be bribed.
Could be bribed.
Yeah, Lisa, can you just walk right in front of me for the entire walk, and I'll just reach in and grab my camera gear? That'd be great.
Yeah, she'd love to do that. But yeah, you're right. But that's where, like, even like just off topic a bit, or on topic, off topic, but that's why having something like a small telephoto in your bag all the time is really handy. Like the ones we have, that 75 1.8. I love that lens. It's like it's an 150 mil equivalent. Yeah. And it's just perfect for what you've done there, like just to blur backgrounds or foregrounds.
Funny you should say that, because I've realized I still own a, what is it, like a 40 to 150, just their kit lens, the Olympus, and it's plastic, so it weighs nothing.
There you go.
And although it's not it's a kit lens, whatever. It's not what you've got to tell you use it. I think it could probably go in the bag. If the 100 to 400 doesn't make its way in.
Look, if you bring the 100 to 400 along, that'd be pretty impressive. I'm tempted to bring that big 300 mil as well.
Well, that'd weigh about the same as the 100 to 400. So
yeah, it would. I haven't got it here, but yeah, it could be interesting.
I just found with the 100 to 400, even on a 2-day hike, what I found was I had the camera with that lens on in my hand for maybe half the walk. And it didn't bother me. It just felt like it was like another arm. I was just like, oh, well, this is what I've got. This is, it didn't worry me one iota. Of course, the issue will come when there's a few challenging parts of a walk where I need the poles as well. So
and I think that's the difference with where we're going. There is boardwalk, but there's also some very rough terrain that
it's going to be horses for courses, I think, in this case. And I think at the end of the day, the 100 to 400 is just going to have to stay home.
Well, you know what? Day 2 of our trip, as we discussed in the Zoom call we did last night with the group, day 2's are quite a short day and very easy. Like it's mostly boardwalk. You could get away with it then. And also part of
Can I just give it to someone else to take?
part of day 4 is another. There is sections where you could walk along with it for a couple of kilometers easily. So I reckon I can convince you to bring it.
Okay,
bring it along.
Are we still doing a show here for everyone else?
Oh, shit. Sorry. Anyway, back on the topic. Hey, you've got up there. Are we going to do the second point, or are we going to skip that second point?
I think we'll skip that second point and roll it over to another one.
But the third point, I didn't know about that.
It's a biggie. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to roll that out? That's
absolutely. So for all of my definitely photographic retail career, DP Review, some would say the industry Bible for selling cameras for sure, and doing comparisons for cameras and things, is closing down. It is no longer. In fact, I think it's no longer like next week.
From April 10th.
There you go. So in a week and a half, or a week when this comes out, it's going to be gone. Now, for those of you who don't know, DP Review has been around since the internet, really.
25 years of operation.
25 years. So really, since digital cameras started, DP Review stands for Digital Photography Review, and
or is it D Preview?
D Preview, as people, I think it's called DP Review.
It is DP Review,
DP Review. And so when, for example, when a new camera came out, I would go straight to DP Review and read all the specs, and then eventually they'd put a review out and a hands-on. And as I say, it was the industry Bible for gear. So a few years ago, Amazon bought DP Review.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they have decided in their infinite wisdom that that's not making them a buck, so goodbye. Which blows my mind that they're not selling it to anyone. So they obviously see it as big enough of a threat to not sell it to someone, and yet it's not making them enough money to keep it. So
well, it's funny that one of the comments on the DP Review when they've made the announcement, someone says, "Oh my God, what's the guy that runs Amazon? Bezos or
Jeff Bezos?
Bezos is worth $122 billion and can't afford to keep a couple of dozen preview staffers on." Yeah. So
it's a real bummer, because it's hopefully the site gets archived or something. Like they have to keep what they've put up to date.
I can help you with that. So it says the site will be locked with no further updates made from the 10th of April 2023. Right. The site will be available in read-only mode for a limited period afterwards.
A limited period?
Limited period afterwards.
That's disappointing.
And if you've ever uploaded content to that or whatever, you can ask that to be downloaded. But yeah, it looks like they're going to close it and then really close it. So
yeah, so there's kind of no point if if listeners haven't been to DP Review before. There's probably no point now because it's going to be closed. But
yeah,
if you feel like it, jump on and have a look. It's a phenomenal website.
I reckon someone's going to rescue this.
They would have to, and you've got, maybe we should.
Yeah, or we can.
Okay,
I'm sure they'll sell it.
Little tumbleweed just rolled through.
I'm sure they'll sell it to us for $20. But you're
Maybe
right.
Our
Like,
beer donations can pay for the
if you want to buy DP Review, get on and donate. But yeah, you're right. Like, I remember working in the camera shop, and a new camera comes out. What's it like? I'll just go to the compare section.
Yeah,
it's like you said, it was the Bible / encyclopedia for cameras. It's and all the videos they do as well. The two guys that do the videos. Amazing. So what a damn shame. If you can check it out, go check it out, dpreview.com.
Yep.
Like you said, you've only got to April 10th. But when I saw that in the show notes, I'm like, what? That can't be real.
Yeah, I reckon in camera retail, I would use that on the daily. No question. I'd be there checking out.
Yeah.
Even simple questions like, does the Nikon D5000, what video modes has it got? Well, I'm not going to go to Nikon's website. I'll go straight to DP Review because I know where to find it instantly. Like,
I used to use it quite a lot when people were like, oh, Olympus, no, they're crap. Like, I've got the Canon, whatever. I'm like, right, I'll screw you. Compare. I'm like, yep, beats that. Okay, they beat us. And it was a good way to do it. But super informative, really amazingly well done.
And generally their reviews were spot on.
Yeah.
What I did notice creeping in since Amazon took it over, of course, was the companies would now have more say because Amazon sell the cameras. So
yeah, that's right.
And when I remember when Amazon bought it, there was a bit of backlash as well. It's like, oh, here we go. Well, there goes all the independent, unbiased reviews out the window. And a couple of them were a bit tarnished. But before the Amazon takeover, DP reviews were bloody good. Like they were. And I would use it as a selling point on a camera. Like, do you know that this rated 90% on DP Review, and only 3 cameras have ever rated 90% on that website. That sort of stuff was a really handy selling tool.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's.
But anyway,
I've sent lots of customers there saying, hey, you know what? Go have a look at this. If you want to compare cameras or read a review that's not my review, go have a look at this. And it's a shame, but that's just the way the world works, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Maybe my kids would say, rip DP Review.
Yeah, maybe they gave their reviews away too many times for free.
Well, there's the callback. I love the callback. Callback's good. Cam, you got a bit of gear talk to talk about there. The Sony ZV-E1.
Oh, yeah. Now, for those who don't know anything about the Sony ZV-E1, join the club because I don't know anything about it either. But it blew my mind when I had an email come in from good mates at DigiDirect saying, hey, it's available for pre-release and pre-order. It's a vlogging camera. So it's one of those little Sonys with the flip-out screen vlogging camera. It's a full-frame 12 megapixel vlogging camera. Now, I'm not going to get into any video specs or anything like that. I've got the specs up here, but they mean nothing to me. But it's over $3,500 for this camera. And I'm like, wow, are we getting up to that kind of price range for vlogging cameras? Like, it's that's
a lot of ganja.
It's a lot of money for, and like think of a small compact camera. Like, it's not huge, but it does have interchangeable lenses, so you can do a few things with that. I'm assuming it's got pretty high end video, like 4K video and all that kind of stuff.
You would bloody hope so if it's $3,500 plus grand.
But it was just the price that blew me away. I'm like, that's cool. That's new.
That's with a lens, right?
I'm hoping so. Yeah, surely. Yeah,
it'd have to be.
It has to
come
be.
On. Tell me it comes with a lens of some description.
I'll look it up, but geez, I want to. But it was just like, whoa, okay, we're getting to this point now.
Gear is expensive. A lot of stuff in the last couple of years has really gone through the roof.
I'll just interrupt you quickly there. It's $3,800.
Yes.
For the body only.
Oh, get stuffed.
Totally.
Come on, Sony. You're taking the piss. That's ridiculous.
It's almost a $4,000.
Pull your heads in, Sony.
I don't know what lenses it takes, but there's another grand or two for lenses.
Yeah.
That's body only.
Yeah.
But
you're not going to buy a $3,500 camera and put a kit lens on it, are you? So
no,
you're right. You're probably staring down the barrel of $5,000 to get that thing.
Yeah, and I know, like our great friend Ben Horn, I think he uses a Sony camera for his vlogging. I think he might have mentioned that to us. We should try and get him back on. Anyway,
Yes.
he uses a Sony camera for his vlogging and stuff like that. But I don't think he uses that model. But that's a lot of money, dude, for a vlogging camera. Like, just put your iPhone on a Gorilla Pod and you'll be fine. I don't know,
Pretty much.
If that's what you're into, or the other thing you could do is,
and if you can afford it, knock yourself out.
Exactly. The other thing you could do is also buy the Sony ZV-1F.
Yes.
For $720. So this other one must be the absolute duck's guts of vlogging cameras.
Yeah, that little compact Sony that you just mentioned is actually a ripping little camera.
Right. Okay.
And it gets really good reviews, probably on DP Review, for its video capability as well. But as you already said, this is not a video show. This is
I apologize for going off the norm, but just when I got that email, I actually got it just before we went on air, and I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Sony's brought that out. I'm like, oh, a vlogging camera, $3,800.
Yeah. You won't see me with that thing anytime soon.
Are you smoking some serious drugs there, Sony? But anyway,
it's crazy.
The good news is, if you do buy from our good mates at DigiDirect, you get a $200 gift card.
Fantastic. Let's go down to Dear Cam.
Oh, we don't have one.
That's what I want to bring it up. If you have a Dear Cam for us for next week, please give us a question. Try and trip us up a little bit. Let's see. I'm curious. Throw a question in there for Dear Cam. You can do
that via our website. You can do it via the website.
And the other thing that you can do, thank you. The other thing you can do on our website is buy us a beer. Thank you to this week's,
or in our case, a Jamison's whiskey,
alcohol of some kind. But thanks to our beer donations, and Mel H has double dipped. He's gone in again. Yeah. The guy likes buying us a beer, so thanks.
I think Mel has a drinking problem via us.
I think he thinks we've got a drinking problem, and he's right. And we love the beer donations. It's a ripper. If you do a beer donation through dsps.com.au, we make sure that you get a shout out on the show. So we do. Jump on and buy us a beer if you want to, if that's your thing. Yeah, and we're not endorsing drinking. We just enjoy it. It's funny though, because it sort of goes hand in hand with what we do. Yes, which is talk shit. Photography. Cameron. Sorry, photography. Very good. The other little thing that off script that I wanted to mention as well, if you would like us to talk about a particular topic on the show that we haven't done in the previous 73 episodes before this one, I had to check the notes and again to make sure we're at the right thing. By all means, let us know if you want us to talk about a topic that you might be interested in. Chances are one of our other 458 subscribers on YouTube are interested as well, or one of our other thousands of listeners through the podcast are interested as well. So one of the 7,000 people that have downloaded our episodes. Correct. That's not getting you to do the work for us. We just like to have a varied number of a range of topics that we can talk about. And if you've been sitting there patiently waiting through all the episodes for your topic to come up, chances are it won't. So let us know. And then that'll help in a way, because if we do get someone bring up a topic, I don't know what the average is, but I'd say about 2.3 seconds we put into the show notes before each episode. That will definitely save us that time. So any topic, anything photography related, send us a topic. If it's something that doesn't make sense, something that's caught your eye, something that's bothered you, something that you want to get better at, just let us know and we can definitely go in there and try our best to shed some light on it. Love it. Now you have got a very exciting 7 days coming up. I do. I have a lap of the map, as we call it down here. So starting on Sunday, which is not April Fool's Day, it's the day after April Fool's. I'm doing a 7-day trip around Tasmania with my good friend Sang Ma from WA from Venture Photography Tours. Well, I think that's what his business is called. He's going to kill me for that. We got Venture Photography Tours. There you go. We got 7 days on the Tasmanian island, and we're going to go in a anti-clockwise. So we're going to go East Coast, Cradle Mountain, West Coast, Hobart. And we've got some beautiful guests coming along we've got actually an international guest coming. This will be my second trip in a row that I've had an international guest,
which is
Fantastic.
quite incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's coming up. I've just got back from a 5-day, 6-day tour around Tassie that I did with some other great customers, and we had a doors off helicopter flight over Cradle Mountain. I think I might have sent you a message from my office that day, and
Yes, you did.
I think you might have said something not very nice back to me, but that's okay.
Yes.
So yeah, we're looking forward to that. Looking forward to catching up with Seng. It's been a while. So, and you have officially now it's all closed. Is that right? The Torquay store.
Torquay store is done.
Yep.
We put a line through the Torquay store a couple of weeks ago. Bittersweet moment for me, but it feels right. It feels like the right thing to do.
Any tears?
No, God, no. No. And I'm still in the process of emptying that joint out. So I've got about another week to get all that out of there. So always fun. You never know exactly how much crap you've got until you try to move it. And
that's right.
That's exactly where I'm at right now. So when this goes out, which is Friday tomorrow. Holy smokes! This is Thursday. When this goes out tomorrow.
Oh shit! I've got to edit this when I get
correct.
off this.
I will be breaking my back getting stuff in and out of my van, but that's fine. That's all part of the fun. The good wife loves the fact that our garage is getting full of Torquay fixtures and fittings, but that's okay.
What about the buoy table? Is that all covered now?
Buoy table is currently covered in hiking gear, Cameron.
Oh right, yeah. You're going on a hike somewhere, are you?
And that's your fault.
That's my fault, all right. Yes, you will be mine for 6 days soon.
Yes. No. Look, I think next week's episode will be our last chance to talk to put an episode out before we head over to the little island. So seriously, getting very excited now about all that. It's going to be grouse.
But I'm going to give people a teaser. I'm dead set keen to put an episode together while we're on the track. So I'm thinking
still not sure how that's going to happen, but
it's all good. I've got it under control, my friend. So every night, what we're going to do is a 10-minute snippet at the camp. So if we do 10 minutes a night, it's 5 nights, 6 days. That'll be around about a 50, 60-minute show.
Okay.
And then what we'll do, I think we're just going to recap every day and what we've learned about hiking and photography, what we like and don't like. The biggest thing is going to be controlling the idiots in the background of the camp.
Oh, we'll sneak off together, Camp.
We'll sneak off together. We'll have a bit of a rendezvous.
Yeah, you did talk about taking hip flasks, so
yeah,
we're gonna have a little chin chin and
a bit of a nip before we go. But so stay tuned for that in the next few weeks when we get back from the overland track. We'll have an episode.
Okay, you heard it here first. We will bring you an episode that was recorded whilst doing the overland track. So
yeah, watch us just get dirtier and tired and more beardy and stuff. We might even, like I said, have a couple of special guests we might pull into the show.
Yeah, that's right. Like what, a wombat?
Hey, don't laugh. It wouldn't be surprised if a wombat just walks through our campsite every night.
Well, that would be great.
What you don't want is a spotted eastern quoll.
Okay,
they're like the cats of the outback here.
Is this a drop bear thing?
No, it's not a drop bear thing, but they
winding me up here.
No, they're like the cats, but they're just cunning and real sneaky, and they prounce around as if they own the joint, and then they rip off with your food, or
then they strike.
But no, there's no drop bears, no deadly creatures. The devils, I didn't mention the devils on our Zoom call last night, but we'll probably hear them. You won't see them, but
I would love to see. I have actually seen a devil in the wild. Very, very fortunate to see one in the wild, but at a long distance, and whatever. Okay. I don't think anyone ever sees them up close, but in the wild,
they're pretty shy animals.
They are very, very shy. This has been episode 70. Where was it? Episode 74 of the Down South Photo Show. Oh my God.
Jeez. Okay, cut. We're going to have to start this.
All again. That's right.
Yeah.
This has been episode 74 of the Down South Photo Show. That's it. That's the podcast. Cam, anything else to add?
No, I've said enough this week.
I agree. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you for episode 75 next week. Bye for now.
See yous.
See yous.